With the release of Season 2, Century Age of Ashes has now released its 5th class called the Thorn Mommy. Hot damn! Jokes aside, she's called the Thornweaver and she can be a real force to be reckoned with. This dazzling elf is hard to chase down due to the slowing projectiles she releases upon taking damage, and she can be a real nuisance by applying poisonous damage over time effects to the enemy team. Let's break her down. With consent, of course. Thorn Mommy's passive ability is called Numbing Retaliation. This ability stacks up charges over time, and upon taking direct damage, you release several numbing projectiles that will both damage and slow your enemies. You can stack up to a maximum of 4 projectiles. This is a passive ability that will reward you for avoiding taking damage. Dodging fireballs and building up those stacks means you'll have an even bigger chance of surviving your next deadly encounter due to the fact that you'll have more charges to slow down your enemies. Because of this, the Thornweaver can be really hard to chase down. As soon as she's hit, you get slowed and off she goes, leaving you in the dust. Because of this, the Thornweaver can be quite a nuisance, and sometimes you might even need to put in a coordinated effort to take her down. For several game modes, this is basically an A-tier passive ability. Her power is called Verdant Bulwark, and that name should give away that you turn into somewhat of a tank when using this. The damage you take while in this defensive stance is heavily reduced. On top of this, you are able to press the power button 2 more times during the window that Verdant Bulwark is active to release poisonous darts towards nearby enemies. You'll know if an enemy is in range to be poisoned by the green ring that will be swirling around the target. And the enemies don't have to be on the screen for you to be able to poison them. You'll see the green ring even when they're off screen, so feel free to hit them up before the timer runs out. Verdant Bulwark lasts for 10 seconds once you activate it, so make sure you spend your 2 poisonous darts before the timer runs out. Her rage is called Verdant Fortress and is basically the same as her power, but with God mode activated. During Verdant Fortress, the damage that you take is even further reduced, and you can spam that button to release unlimited poisonous darts. I've gotten so many kills and assists with this where I've just been flying around and mindlessly spamming these darts. The rage lasts for 8 seconds, so make sure you hit that button every time you see a green ring around an enemy target. If you're a Windguard, I can definitely recommend giving your rage to the Thornweaver. For abilities, the Thornweaver can choose between one new ability called Bramble Wall and an old acquaintance known as the Smoke Trail. Bramble Wall will release a projectile that you can aim freely, much like the Phantom's and Windguard's blast abilities. When this projectile hits an obstacle, or when you push the button again when it's close to an obstacle, it puts up a wall of thorns that can block your enemy's path. This can be really good for blocking off the flag carrier in Gates of Fire, blocking deliveries in Spoils of War, or simply to stop enemies from chasing you down. You can place a bramble wall in your immediate path to stop the enemy behind you, seeing as you yourself can fly straight through it. I haven't quite been able to figure out how long it stays up for, but it seems to be pretty damn long. I'm guessing it has the same duration as the Smoke Trail. All in all, the Thornweaver is a good addition to the roster of Century Age of Ashes. She's not dead weight, she deals damage, and she further helps the team by not being too easy to kill. I would say that the game mode where she shines the brightest for me is in Carnage. Both her power and rage can be used to weaken the enemy team with the help of her poisonous darts, while she simply stays alive from the reduced damage she takes. As long as you avoid taking unnecessary damage, you should be perfectly able to escape from most combat situations with your life intact as well. I don't find her to be as strong in Spoils of War, although she's definitely still useful, seeing as she can easily stay alive, but she'll also lose her gold from taking damage even if she is alive for longer. If you're still stuck in Season 1, which this game was for a long time, check out this guide here and get to know the Stormracer as well. Bye now!